I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're diving into a powerful book that is called Wit and Wisdom Mother, Wise Advice for Any Age by Ceezar Martinson. This touching collection pays tribute to the enduring influence of a mother's wisdom through insightful and poignant quotes. Join us as we explore the heartfelt lessons and inspirations that have shaped this author's journey and resonate with readers of all ages. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing this amazing book. The links are below this interview. Ceezar, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me, Logan.
My pleasure. Great to have you on the show. It's an awesome book. What inspired you to write The Wit and Wisdom Mother?
What inspired me to write it was the fact that, my mother in over, I would say a period of 20 years, going back to my early teens, had given me a lot of wise advice about different aspects of life that through my own life experiences, I found to be true, and applying that wisdom was invaluable to helping me. And I felt that it was important to write the book to share that wisdom with others.
I think that's a great idea. I think all of our mothers, more or less, have wonderful words of wisdom for us. At times when she's giving us that advice or that imparting that wisdom, we might fall on deaf ears at the moment, but eventually it sinks through and it becomes part of us. Is there a particularly impactful piece of advice from your mother that you featured in this book?
Yes, there is, and um, the the most impactful, one of the most impactful pieces of advice is chapter 3 on courage, and I'm reading from the book now because this is my favorite quote and one that has stayed with me for my entire life. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is feeling fear and choosing not to let fear overwhelm you from doing what must be done. And that's a quote that has a lot of resonance with me because there's been periods in my life where I've had to show courage. And some of it was physical courage. I worked for about a year in a homeless shelter and went through experienced a lot of physical violence as a security contractor in that position. And I had to show physical courage on a daily basis to protect myself and protect other staff that I worked with. But there's been other periods of my life where, like, for example, another period of my life where I became a whistleblower on some things that were going on in the Alaska legislature, where I wasn't showing physical courage, but I was showing intellectual courage.
Hmm. Exactly. And your mom's 100% right. Just because you're doing something that's brave or doing something that requires courage doesn't mean you're not scared or fearful while doing it, but it's doing it anyway, despite that fear, despite that scare, is what distinguishes people who are heroic and brave and courageous and those who are not. So I think that was absolutely a wise bit of advice. Tell us a little bit about how your writing background from the Anchorage Press and so on have influenced your writing in this book.
Um, I would say that, the Anchorage Press has influenced me, um, in so far just the ability to, both, and having the mindset to write, and also just the improvement in writing. When I wrote for the Anchorage Press, I had an editor, and so he would edit my work, on the sort of the mechanics, the spelling and punctuation and that kind of thing, which improved my overall writing. But the other thing that the Anchorage Press did is it just gave me the mindset of a writer, because I would sit down, I would write columns about the Alaska legislature and the state budget process, and I would send them to my editor on Fridays and get them out the next week. And so it just gave me the tenacity, the drive, and just the focus to sit down and write the book.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you hope folks take away from the Wit and Wisdom Mother?
I what I hope that people um, take away from the book is the importance of, first of all, the importance of moms in our life, the importance that the relationship that you have with your mother, the importance of that relationship, and also the importance of the wisdom you get in that relationship. I think one of the things about the age that we're, the current era that we're living through, is there's a lot of unwisdom that we receive in the popular culture, that and honestly a lot of unwisdom that encourages us to kind of separate from our parents. And what I want when people read this book is to recognize the relationship with your mother is foundational in your life. The wisdom that that relationship provides you is important, and you need to reflect on it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, at times you're getting that wisdom and that advice from your mother. It seems to be falling on deaf ears, but then you kind of marinate on it later on and think about what she had to say, particularly once they're gone. You tend
Yes.
to recall what your mother said to you and why it was important and the impact it had. Give the folks at home an overview of what of your book. Once they open the pages, what will they find on those pages?
So the book is 33 chapters, and when they open, and it's a quick, and it's a quick read. This is not a book. This is not The Hobbit by Tolkien. It's a very quick read. When you open the chapters, they'll open the book. Each chapter has a title dealing with a certain aspect of the human condition. So chapter one is on stupidity, and there are quotes from my mother defining what stupidity is, and there's a short paragraph from me on the sort of context of the quotes, when she said these things to me, etc. And it's the same. Chapter two is love, chapter three is courage, four is patience, and it just goes through with the paragraph from me and the quotations. And it's a very quick read. You can read it you can read it in less than 5 minutes. And I did it that way because I wanted this to be something that you could pick up, go through quickly, but the content is hard hitting, so you can go through it quickly, but you can also, come back to it later. You can think on it.
Yeah, absolutely. This must have been nice writing this book. It must have been a great connection for you and I don't know if your mom's still with us, but a
She
nice
is.
connection with your mom.
Uh,
Well, thank goodness. So she must be very proud that you wrote this book, right?
there's a lot of humor about it, because I sat down in May, and I got out my laptop, and how the book came to be was I just wrote down all these quotes from her, and I just wrote them down because it was, for me at the time, it was this reflecting on wisdom she had given me and sort of writing it down, because I'm like, I need to remember this for posterity. And this interesting process started to begin because I wrote all the quotes down. And then I said, you know what, I can arrange this as a book. And so then I started going through and organizing it, putting chapters together, naming, what aspect of the human condition each chapter was dealing with. And I went to her and I said, Mom, I've written this book, and I have all these quotes from you. Do you have any problem if I get this published? And she looked at me and she said, "Well, to be perfectly blunt, I didn't think you were listening. All those times as a teenager when I was telling you all that, I didn't think you were paying attention at all about it." She said, "So I am actually I'm actually heartened that you were actually listening, because it didn't mean that I failed you as a parent." She said, "If you find someone who uh, finds economic value in what I've said, go for it." So I found a publisher, Stellar Publishing, and the process just took off from there. My project manager at Stellar, Celine Carter, looked at it and she said, "This is good material, and I think this is going to go far," and it certainly has.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, your mother must be very proud. I know she never dreamed you would take her words and turn them into a book. And she said, only do it if there's a market out there. And I think there is a market out there because I think the wit and wisdom of your mother kind of encapsulates the wit and wisdom that many of us feel our mothers have. That's for sure. The name of the book is The Wit and Wisdom Mother, Wise Advice for Any Age. It's a touching collection that pays tribute to the enduring influence of a mother's wisdom through insightful and poignant quotes. It's a great book for your mother's birthday, great book for your mother at any time. Let your mom know you think about her, you care about her. And if you don't have a mom anymore, buy it for yourself. Read it. It'll remind you of the loving words and the thoughtful words of a mom just like yours. Ceezar, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me, Logan.
I appreciate your time, sir. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time, this time until next time on Spotlight.